There is not much that I can do to make this part funny, so I made it short. Let's dive right in knowing what language a web agency or a provider will use to develop your solution. That can say a lot about their ability to deliver a product that really fits to your needs. So let's flip through a few well-known technologies and give you their pros and cons. But before talking about languages, let's define what frameworks are. Frameworks are common methodology, usually based on open source, that allow you to accelerate the development, and that also confirm that if people use framework, they are going to use well-known methodologies and good coding principles. On that point, the question to ask to your provider is, are you using an MVC framework? No matter the language, if they do not use that methodology, run away. That means that they are not very up-to-date on their development methodologies. Now, development languages. And like human languages, they are no one better than another. They are just better for certain things. With more than 100 languages, here is the well-known that we can use usually when we build a startup. The Python, PHP, Ruby on Rails, Java, NodeJS, or ASP.NET. We are going to flip through these well-known methodologies, these well-known languages. PHP is the more used, very easy to learn, quick for small things, and as it is very popular, that's pretty easy to find developers. But it's more complex on larger scale. But still possible, as example, Facebook built their first versions on PHP. And in terms of security, that's actually not the best one, and we can come up to have some vulnerabilities. In my opinion, that's not the best, but that's definitely a very easy solution, and I recommend PHP only with well-known frameworks like Symfony or Laravel. And now, Node.js. Very efficient and very scalable. That's very trendy to use this language these days. But the frameworks are still young, and it's pretty difficult to find good developers on that language. My opinion, this is a great technology these days. You will have more and more Node.js developer in the future. So if you can find one, that's a good thing to go with this one. Next, Ruby on Rails. That use a very strict and clear MVC approach. It is easy to learn, and there are many components that already exist and that can accelerate the development. And it's also very easy to iterate and to scale. For the production management, it's a bit more complex, and it's pretty difficult to find good developer in that language. That's really the big drawback. In my opinion, Ruby on Rails is a very good option if you do not require a very large team on the long term. Python now. It uses a clean MVC approach. It's very adapted for data science, and it's easy to learn. But the production is a bit complex to manage, especially with libraries management. And it's quite new, and the community is pretty small. So it's also quite difficult to find a good developer. In my opinion, Python is a good option, especially if you don't really need a very large scale and if you want to integrate artificial intelligence down the road. The next one, Java. Very reliable, well-known, very secure, and it's pretty easy to find engineer. But it requires a senior level experience. And it's quite heavy for a startup. The development will take more time in Java than almost in any other languages. In my opinion, Java is a bit old school, and it's not always easy to have an agile management with Java. So I do not really recommend it, except if you have a Java developer as a co-founder. And finally, ASP.NET. It's well known as this language has been created by Microsoft. But it's very hard to find engineers, and it's pretty complex to scale. My opinion, like most of the developers, I don't like that much Microsoft. Although I don't know that much about that language. So the only thing I can tell you is that I've seen startups struggling with it by finding resources and managing the server's scalability. Okay, we reviewed languages used for website and information system. But what about mobile applications? They need their own specific language and frameworks. And there are two main categories for mobile applications. For prototype, I recommend the hybrid version. A cross-platform language which will works on Apple Android devices. We have the Ionic framework, the React Native, which are the well-known approach to create mobile applications without developing specifically on each platform. And we have two different approaches when it comes to developing a mobile applications. The first one is the hybrid version, the cross-platform language, which will works on Apple and Android devices. The technologies or the framework, the well-known one, are Cordova or PhoneGap, are Ionics, the React Native, and Xamarin. These are great options, especially when we talk about prototyping or the first version of your application. Now, if you need more performance, you also have the native languages, which are more recommended for games, virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things, or maybe when you have some hardware dependencies like from protocol, like Bluetooth, etc., etc. It's, of course, more expensive, but it's faster and it's more scalable on long term. From my opinion, these days, the hybrid applications are becoming better and better. And for an early stage startup, it's definitely the way to go. Okay, now that you know a bit of how things works, we are going to talk about quality management. And mainly how to, as a non-technical person, you can ask to a team to develop and to make a better product. And that's what we are going to talk in the next video.